go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to Top Tier Talk. We are now on episode 2, and we're on Matchweek 15. Let me get it right this time. So welcome back. So first of all, it's been a great week for Arsenal, as me as an Arsenal fan. So what can I say? But firstly, what we'll start with is the Leicester 2 and Man United 2 score. I'll start. So it's a great result for, I guess, Liverpool and City and everything like that. We're trying to reach back up into the top table, because Leicester and Man United are trying to climb that table as well. With Man United getting a game in hand, that's going to be quite good for them to obviously try and win that game, but they haven't. But they still got a game in hand to try and reach that top hand of the table. But let's, snag one back at the end. Shavez, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we have the attack to win the league and we have the defense to get relegated. That's our team right now. If we improve on our defense, we will win the league. And we can. Like you can see, Leicester are second in the league and we got a result against them. And I know people are upset that we didn't win, but it's a good result for second in the table. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with that performance. I know we miss chances. Rashford misses chances. But I think right now in the league, we create the most chances in games. Mm-hmm. And if we improve on our finishing, we're in the title race. I said it last week. We are now definitely in the title race. And I don't know if we'll win it. I really hope we can give them a good run because Liverpool are strong, but we're looking good.
Very true. Yeah. Yeah, no, some good comments there. Amir, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I do agree with you. I think they are in the title race more than us at the moment. Mm-hmm. Rashford did miss a couple chances, but he did get his goal.
Yeah.
And Bruno's assist for the first one. I don't know if he meant it or not, but it was really nice. So yeah, I think they were unlucky with the own goal, but
yeah,
2-2. It's not a bad result.
Yeah, no, yeah. As you said, like Bruno's assist was quite. You don't know if you can say it's luck or it's actually planted, but then you saw his like. Have you heard about it as well? When the video of him and he's like, "Did you see my assist?" Chipping it in the background.
He'll take credit for anything. He stat pads. That's what he does.
Yeah, but I say the thing is, like Man United are doing really well this season, but they're still a bit too inconsistent. Like you see, they'll have a lot of good patches where they start climbing back up the table, but then like inconsistent results. Like I know obviously the Leicester result is good for them because Leicester have done well this season, but sometimes you see against a lower team, you might have a bit of an inconsistent game. I still think they're in the title race. I still think they're like up there.
Very nice. Fair enough from a rival fan. Daniel, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I thought it was a good result in terms of Man United. I know there's the talk of them being in the title race, but they do need as Shavez said earlier, a defence.
You know what it is?
They need a whole rebuild.
Just the Watford chair gets me every time. Keep going. Sorry.
But no, it was the Watford shirts. Yeah. No, it was a good result. It was a good game as well. As you mentioned, the Fernandes assist was a class assist, whether he meant it or not. But he still had the know-how to get the ball through. And again, Leicester pushing creates their chances and their goals to get stuff like the own goals and things like that. It was a good result for both teams, I think.
Very nice. Yeah. So overall, that was a great match for, I guess, both teams because you both got a point out of it at the end of the day. It's not quite good for United, I guess. You wanted all the 3 points, so you could try and maybe get those equal points when you win the next match, hopefully. But I guess a 2-2 you have to take, I'm afraid. All right. Next match. I don't think any of you guys watched this. Fulham 0, Southampton 0. At the end of the day, Fulham trying to strangle like the points at the bottom of the table. Like I guess it's just going to fight battle already for them. So if we're not even hit January.
Good point for them.
Yeah, there'll be more 0-0s with the time limit. Right now, the amount of games being played in such a short amount of time, there'll be more 0-0s, and that's a terrible result for Southampton. But these lot don't have squads that are ready for this. We do, so it's expected.
Exactly. Yeah. Amir, what do you think?
Agree. Yeah. 100% agree. It's a good point for Fulham.
Last time with Fulham as well.
Listen, Dan.
Sorry, what's that, Dan?
Right, Nick, what do you think about
that? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, it's a good point for Fulham considering how well Southampton are doing this season. But yeah, and like Shavez said, our teams will have the squads to sort of cope with fixture upon fixture, but teams like Fulham definitely don't.
Yeah, 100% agree. All right, Dan, Watford fan who's rivaling with Fulham because they're at the bottom. What do you think about it?
No, they had the same issue last time. They got promoted, didn't invest, and then went straight back down. They've done the same thing this time. Again, good point against Southampton, who are very high flying at the minute, and they're always a tough team to play against, especially this season. But yeah, 0-0.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay,
There's
yeah.
not a
Well,
lot- not a lot
nothing
you
really
can
to add
say.
to that, except Fulham are really struggling down at the bottom of the table now. They need to really start like pulling out of the bag. Maybe in a January transfer. Hopefully, something they might pull out the bag. Some like even that. I don't know if he's part of that team. Lookman, he missed that penalty. All the Fulham fans were on his cases and everything like that, and now all of a sudden he's pulled it back. A few goals here and there, and he's looking quite good in front of goal. But yeah, moving on. Aston Villa 3 and Crystal Palace 0. What do you think? In my opinion, Palace like an average team. You're not the type of team to go like lose, as you said, like previously to Matchweek was 7-0 to Liverpool, and then 3-0 this week. Like it's a team like Palace that you'd think, they'll be like a hit and miss team. As they're not really a consistent team. You either get them to win against like Man United like 3-1, or they'll go and like on the other end of the spectrum and lose like 4-0 to like a Southampton or like a Villa. But don't get me wrong, Villa at this point in time, quality at the moment. There's nothing wrong with them. They signed the top man himself in goal, Emi Martinez. Nothing wrong with that man. Top class goalkeeper. But look, Villa quality. They've got a couple games in hand now. I reckon they can stretch it up and try and get into maybe third place with the points they have. What about you, Shavez? What do you think?
Speaking of Palace, have some bad news. Leicester have scored. It's 1-1. Palace Leicester.
Yeah, they have just conceded. Leicester have equalised. It's 1-1.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys keep up with
Harvey
XG.
Barnes again.
Harvey Barnes again. XG, which is like expected goals. Villa, that's the second highest XG in a game ever. The first one being Man City 6-0 Watford. So Villa could have scored more and should have scored more. I don't know how, because they had 10 men. Wait, I'm sorry, Dan. But yeah. The thing with Villa is now they play like that with that much energy on Saturday, and now they play in an hour. Are they going to do that again? Then they're not, because they don't have the squad to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel bad for teams like that, but we'll see. They might, if they pull something out of Stamford Bridge, fair play to them.
That's it. Amir, what do you think about that, mate?
Yeah, Villa very good this year compared to last year. The El Ghazi goal was really nice. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that. And I think Ollie Watkins been really good this year, but he didn't get his goal. He had a lot of chances. And yeah, that goal was really nice.
Yeah, no, just stretching on from that, Ollie Watkins as well. I don't know if you guys have seen, but he's had a quality season this season. He's just come up from non-league football and he's coming back into the Premier League and he's scoring them away. I know I'm stretching back to the 7-2 Liverpool, but when he was playing in that game, he's a clinical striker. That's the kind of striker you want. He's making those runs. He's attacking positions on top. He's making those defenders worry about him, because then you've got Grealish on the left as well. So they're them two a partnership on Aston Villa's team. It's unbeatable. It's unmatched at the moment, should I say. But Nick, what do you think about it, mate?
I think you've got to give massive credit to Dean Smith. Like, if you think last year, they just survived relegation. Now they're looking at, fighting for Europe, like Europa League.
Yeah.
So that's a massive contrast to go from nearly being relegated to now pushing for Europe. And considering, apart from Ollie Watkins and Martinez, they've not really brought in a huge amount of players. So you've obviously got to give credit to the manager for that.
Exactly that. Daniel, what about you, mate?
Yeah, no, literally same as Nick said. They've done well to keep the core of the team together. Obviously, keeping Grealish was a massive bonus for them, because he was their main player last season. But I don't think Watkins was only like 20-25 million. I don't think it was that expensive. I could be wrong with that, but I don't think it was that expensive. And he's must have been on 10 at least already this season. He could carry on the form and hit 20 quite easily. It's good to see an English striker that isn't Harry Kane or Vardy coming in and putting these numbers in his first season.
Exactly.
In the top line.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. To finish up, Villa, scary team. He's that kind of that team you don't want to play, because you never know what could happen between them. Like, for example, when they go and play big teams, they turn up and they play amazing, but then, for example, they play like a Brighton or like a Fulham, and all of a sudden they'll just like drop off a bit, and you might get a 0-0 out of it or something like that. So scary team, yeah, but at the moment they're doing really, really well. So fair play to them, as Nick said, fighting from relegation last season, and now fighting for Europa League. So yeah, fair play to them. Next match, boys. A lovely juicy one for myself. Arsenal 3, Chelsea 1. Amir, I do apologise, buddy, but what a class win. Performance from us was absolutely outstanding. From what I saw, every every attacker, the youngsters put in a performance. You know, they're fighting for their place. They want to let Arteta know that, look, I'm here. I'm banging on the door. This is my position now. You know, for example, like Willian and David Luiz and of course Aubameyang, who came back from injury, of course, but all these older players, you know, they're feeling a little bit too complacent in their positions. You know, David Luiz, he's come out obviously ill somehow. Willian ill as well. But as soon as you start, like, for example, Emil Smith-Rowe, he was quality. Attacking position was on point. The vision, the boy was just running around and like everywhere. And he was making sure he was that option just to like make sure he can get past to. And as my main man himself, Gabriel Martinelli, one of the class performance from him as well. You know, the passion in that boy is absolutely outstanding. For me, like left winger, as soon as you put him there, you know, he'll challenge and challenge and challenge. And for example, when Lacazette was up top with him as well, like even though he's obviously part of the older group like Pepe and Aubameyang, is not a bit too complacent, starts walking about. But as soon as he got into that young side, he was running about, and his energy that match was quality. I loved it. But yeah, like as soon as like the youngsters started playing for that team, I loved every single minute of it. Honestly, Chavez, what do you think?
Okay, so that game is the perfect example. You'll see nowadays people like overrate tactics a lot. They say this manager's tactically better than that. The only difference in that Arsenal team and other ones is that they had younger players playing. And like you said, they just ran more. And that's all. Like, I think that is so like underrated. People just trying harder. Like Emil Smith-Rowe and Gabriel Martinelli, the amount they run that extra half yard, and you won. And there was nothing overcomplicated about that. I know Arteta has been banging on about percentage winning, all of this and that, and he probably does have all these tactics, but he didn't do that in that game. That was quite a simple, just, you know, put your life on the pitch sort of performance, and it worked. And that's why managers like Solskjaer and Arteta and Lampard, they can be successful. They don't need to have some master plan like Mourinho and Pep might, but it's just I thought that was a good example. I liked how Arsenal won that game just by simply running more.
Yeah, no, that's quality. Great. You know, as you say, it's the more passion that like they give off now instead. That's basically showing the example to the older lot in our team. Amir, what do you think?
Just not weren't good enough, were we? Let's be honest. Second half, we were 2-0 down, chasing the game, spamming crosses into the box. Who would you want in the middle, attacking every ball? You want Giroud.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was one mistake he made, not bringing Giroud on, and he brought Jorginho on for Kovacic, which kind of didn't make sense.
Yeah.
I thought our two best players were Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi. I don't know if you lot agree with that one, but
yeah,
energy, everything. Yeah, so I think half the blame's on Lampard, and I think the goals, there was penalty, set pieces. Then that third one, I don't know if he meant it. Do you think Saka meant that last one?
Of course he did. Unmatched.
Yeah.
I don't think he did.
I think Lampard should have changed that. Maybe change formation. I think one on the left doesn't work. That's got to change as well. But
yeah,
it's the blame's on Lampard for this one. But I'm not Lampard out. A lot of Chelsea fans right now are. You can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. Good points. You know, as you said, from a few set pieces of the goals that came from, you know, Granit Xhaka won the class. Turns up in that game just to score a banging free kick. You know, Lacazette penalty. Was it a penalty? Beg to differ, but who knows? It's soft. Pen to pen, exactly that. Yeah. And then Saka right for a masterclass straight in. Mendy good enough, nothing to do it. You know, he looks at it, nothing. He just looked at it and went, no, couldn't get that. And yeah, as like from what I saw as well from Chelsea, as you said, mentioning from Callum Hudson-Odoi, quality. I hate to say it as well, but as soon as Pepe came on, and then was just like at that left mid position just in front of Tierney, he wasn't really challenging Hudson-Odoi that much, and Hudson-Odoi had that room to just run, and he's a very agile player, and I was proper scared from when he started running down that wing because he's a very, very good player. Nick, what do you think?
The thing that was as important in that game for me as Arsenal winning is the fact that Arteta is now going to realise all those older, complacent players don't deserve to be near the starting 11. And all the younger players do. Because it's like, if I was a younger player at Arsenal and I saw people like David Luiz, like all those sorts of older players starting, I'd be looking at it from the bench thinking, I can perform so much better than him. And I know I could, but the manager just hasn't seen it yet. And I think this is the perfect game for Arteta to realise. And now he's seen that I need to keep David Luiz, William away from the starting 11 and bring in these younger players.
That's exactly it. Exactly it. Daniel, what do you think?
Ken.
Daniel?
I think Dan's asleep.
He's lagging.
Oh, hello. Yeah, no. I had no audio there. I'm not going to lie to you.
Now, what do you think about the Arsenal game, Dan?
I just didn't hear you move on to me. I think I heard Lampard say that it wasn't about the tactics, it was about mistakes, which I agree with. Obviously, a penalty being a mistake he can't do anything about, and the free kick from Xhaka, just sloppy mistakes. The Saka, whether he meant it or not, whether it was a good finish or lucky, it was a bit of a freak goal either way you look at it.
Exactly.
But it is mistakes, but I do agree with what you lads were saying about the younger players. It's the saying of hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work or something like that. It's down to that sometimes.
Exactly.
You could have the best player, you can be the best player in that position, but if you don't want to play, you're not going to get the job done or do the job for the team.
That's exactly yeah. No, to wrap up, great little 3 points for Arsenal. I know everyone's quite worried about us apparently like fighting the relegation battle. No chance. You know, if Arteta does generally listen to what he's seen today, I think we'll be like working our way back up to maybe like hopefully towards the top 10. Because from what I saw that game, there was like Tierney quality at left back. You know, Saka as per usual quality, Martinelli quality. As soon as Leno as well saving the penalty, absolutely outstanding. But yeah, great little game. Moving on, Man City 2 and Newcastle 0. Where can we start? You know, it's a typical City win. You know, it's a 1-0, 2-0 win. That's all you need to do. You play around the middle, get as much possession as you can, and then you get those 2 little like sneaky little goals that they won't expect, because it's usually the case whenever I see it with any team. You know, for example, when they play City, any team that plays them, they just play 10 men behind the ball. They worry so much about City's counter-attack little measures. Honestly, it's crazy. You see 10 men behind the ball, but then City managed to find 2 goals against Newcastle, and 3 points, nothing you can blame about them. Chavez, what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't actually watch this game. I haven't even seen the highlights, but just based on like City, the way they're going this season, their defense is something that's been a problem over the last few years, and now all of a sudden, even last few years, it wasn't a problem, but it was the one thing you could nitpick out of that team. And they have a defense. I reckon the attack they have, I know they're not doing as much as they do before. If they start doing what they did last year, they'll win the league. And I did predict City to win the league beforehand. And if Liverpool keep doing what they're doing, keep dropping points, I think City can still win the league. They're not anywhere out of this race. This title race could go anywhere. But City's squad in general, I know the game's cancelled tonight, but you would have seen their squad today, because they would have played some other players that didn't play in that game. That I don't really want to talk about because I haven't seen. With City, I think they're strong contenders and they should win the league based on their squad.
Fair enough. Amir, what do you think, mate?
Same routine win for City. I think Man City have been very unlucky with the striker situation, with Aguero being out or Jesus this week with COVID. I think been a bit unlucky with that, but I do agree with Shavez. The defense does look incredible with Ruben Diaz coming in. So yeah, that's all I can say on it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, stretching onto that, Ruben Diaz has been a class player for you, Nick, recently. Like even this year, he's been your main defender. He's been absolutely outstanding for you. Week in, week out, he puts in a quality performance. And then like moving up the pitch to Ferran Torres, for example, as you said, Amir, Gabriel Jesus and Aguero are out. And, who do you look to come up front? And then Torres comes in. He's a youngster and he just puts in performances left, right and centre. Quality player for me. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, Ruben Diaz this season has just been he's like the company that we were missing over the last year.
Yeah.
But the player that I've got to give massive credit to is a bit unexpected is John Stones, because since he's come back into the team, 9 clean sheets in a row. It's like it's not a coincidence because Laporte's also a good centre back. I think Stones has just sort of realised that Guardiola's been like, look, last 2-3 years you've been inconsistent. You need to just cut the mistakes out of your game because you are a good defender and you can be reaching the top. But now I think he's realised that, and I think Ruben Diaz coming along as well has started to help him get his confidence back, because he needs somebody next to him just to act as a leader.
Yeah.
And like he said as well about going up the pitch, we've been quite unlucky with the strikers, but looking at Ferran Torres, he looks like a financial finisher, even though he's not a number 10. But It looks like he could be, sort of 20, 30 goals a season type of player. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, totally agree with that. Dan, what do you think, mate?
I know it was only 2-0, but it's, as you said earlier, a typical City performance. Like, they don't need to come out of second gear, get the goals, get the job done. This game's coming thick and fast, so they don't need to put extra pressure on themselves. As a player, I know they're going to want to go out and win every game and try, not try the best, but if they can do half a job and win, they'd rather save themselves for the bigger games like the Uniteds. Like, they've got the Carabao Cup semi coming up in a couple of weeks, and when they play the other title contenders, they're going to want to put in the extra effort against them and save themselves for those types of games. And they know they'll beat Newcastle 9 times out of 10. So there's no need for any extra effort or work.
But that's just it. You can play for City's second team, for example, and they're still a top-class team. Mara's on the right, very scary.
Yeah.
Sterling on the left, very scary. And they still got like Bernardo Silva on the bench, Nathan Ake on the bench, and then one quality left-back who's actually quite looking promising as well is Joe Cancelo. Quality player.
Yeah.
I know if he plays left-back or right-back, one of the two, but quality. Whenever I see him play, he knows how to hold it up. He knows when to tackle, everything about him. It's a good signer for City. Obviously, it's been a while since he's been signed, but he's really shown it is just a talent back right now. But yeah, moving on. Sheffield 0 and Everton 1. Nothing really to say about that for me. It's Everton again. Like at the start of the season, you thought they'd be like title contenders at the end of the day. With the likes of Rodriguez, Allen, Calvert-Lewin in their team, they're all looking very, very scary. But then, recently they've just been dropping a little bit. And then now all of a sudden they've beat Sheffield 1-0. It's a 1-0 win, 3 points taken for them. Nothing to complain about really. But I guess you could say they could have done a little bit more with the likes of Richarlison in their team. It's a win's a win, I guess. Shavez, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're the most informed team in the league right now. They've won like 4 of their last 4 games. I don't know what it is. I thought Everton would drop off, but they're still winning games, still getting points.
Yep.
I still think eventually they'll drop off. It's not happened yet. It happened for a bit, and then now they've come back and won a few. They'll drop off. So they will be very happy they're not playing City tonight. I think they would have been destroyed. They would have been the same 11. I don't think they can rotate much. So yeah, but they'll drop off eventually. I hope so. Like if they don't, this season's very weird. Like it can't go on for much longer. This 9 teams being in a title race thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. They're doing well. They're sticking in there.
Yeah, 100%. And Amir?
I agree with Shavez there. They did have a minor blip, I think, a couple game weeks back. But
yeah,
they beat Arsenal, they beat Chelsea. I think they're slowly picking up their form. I think James' injury maybe could have caused this, but you never know. They're back, I guess, winning ways. Yeah.
Yeah. No, strong team at the moment. Yeah, like 6th place kind of team, but then at the moment they're quite challenging for the top 4, who knows. This year is a very, very strange year because you've got a few, maybe 6 or 7 teams that want to stretch towards Champions League kind of places now. You've got the likes of Wolves, Everton, scary teams that you wouldn't expect it, but now here we are. You've got 6 or 7 teams trying to challenge for that. Nick, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think Everton could fight for 4th because Tottenham are showing inconsistencies, and regardless of Everton's squad, they've got a manager who's won 3 Champions Leagues, a Premier League, quite an experienced manager, knows how to get the best out of players. So you can't kind of write them off for 4th place. So
that's exactly yeah, no, 100%. Daniel, if you're still here.
No, I am. I just sticking lap on charge.
Yeah, no problem. What do you think about the Sheffield 0, Everton 1 result?
Yeah. Kind of just steering away from Everton a little bit. I'm back in the room.
Welcome back.
Kind of just steering away from Everton a little bit. I think Richarlison and James was injured. But yeah, as you said, they're doing bits this season. But I know they're bottom of the league, but I know it's going to sound weird coming from a Watford fan, but a big believer of sticking with managers, and credit to Sheffield for doing that. Because it's very rare that they, as we said, I think we mentioned last week, that they're doing worse than Derby in their record-breaking season for the least amount of points. So yeah, credit to them for keeping the manager.
Yeah.
And sort of sticking with it because it worked last season. It's just a second season syndrome that we found out. But yeah, as I said, same as City. Everton are doing bits this season. Didn't need to come out of second gear. Sheffield aren't really threatening anyone, so it's kind of a nothing game for Everton, I would have thought.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Everton, scary team. Sheffield, they've really fallen off from what they were last year. I think they finished maybe, what was it, 6th or 7th last year. So it's taken a complete turn this year, but hopefully they'll be able to find their ground again. Next game, Leeds 1, Burnley 0. I remember catching a few minutes of this game, actually. The ref wasn't too good about this game, to be fair. He wasn't very consistent at all. I remember he was given yellow cards to the Leeds players for taking out, I think it was Tarkowski, and it wasn't really a yellow card. It was a very, very soft yellow card. And then the exact same thing happened to a Leeds player from the Burnley. I don't know who it was who took him out, but no yellow card. It was just, have a words and then move on. But I was like, where's the consistency? Even the commentators were like, where's the consistency? If you're going to give yellow for that, but then there's going to be no yellow for that, then it's kind of a little bit like, there's a little bit something off here. But the actual result itself, Leeds, they're just it's annoying that they won because that means we still stay 15th Arsenal. But Leeds are really starting to pick it up again. They've got most of their team have got the top knots, so you can stand out from a while away. But Bamford's picked up again. He got that penalty. He's in my fantasy at the moment.
It's
But
a penalty as well.
Yeah, exactly. He's a class player. He's just needs to get those balls through and make sure he can get more clinical to get those extra bit of goals in. But yeah, Shavez, what do you think?
Yeah, this game was actually this is nearly the most attacking team in the league, Leeds against the most defensive. I thought it would be a better game, but it was actually all right. There was controversy, wasn't there, where Burnley scored a goal, which should have been a goal, but it wasn't given. There was a bit of terrible refereeing in there. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't particularly like the Leeds hype train or whatever it is. They still concede the most shots in the league. They concede the most in the league. I don't know. It's fun to watch, but I'd love to hear from a Leeds fan about it, because as much as they're entertained, I think a manager goes into a game against Leeds, there is a certain way you can prepare to play Leeds and you can win, and you know what they're going to do. It's so predictable. So if you've got the players, you can take Leeds. I don't know. I think they'll do worse. That this is the best it's going to get for them. Well, I might be wrong. They might just keep battering teams 5-4 and 6-5 and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm not I'm not the biggest fan of Leeds.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, it's completely your opinion. Fair enough. Amir, what do you think?
Yeah, Bamford again scoring. He's proving the doubters wrong, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
And in the Premier League. I remember a couple seasons back he wasn't ready for the Premier League like he is now. But yeah, I think Calvin Phillips looks like a good player as well.
Does.
Plays in the defensive midfield role, but yeah, I didn't really watch this game, so I can't comment too much. But
yeah, no, that's completely fair enough. Yeah, Nick, what do you think, mate?
And I watched a bit of the game, but I just think the thing I saw on Twitter.
Oh no. Oh no, Nick.
Hey,
You started lagging for a bit, Nick.
Yeah.
Go on, continue, mate.
Yeah, no, I think that Bielsa needs to stick to his ways. I saw a lot of comments on Twitter of people saying, "Oh, you can't just go into a game, go attack. You have to actually manage it." But if you look at past people like Mourinho, Pep, when they've been successful, they've stuck to their philosophy, even when people have told them you can't play this way. Yeah. So I think I like what he's doing. He's not taking opinions from other people. He's just doing it the way that he sees best.
Exactly. Yeah. He's Shavez wouldn't obviously like it, but he's a tactical manager. But as you said, you need to start changing up your ways because everyone's starting to learn the kind of ways he starts to play. So then Leeds is starting to get found out a little bit more. Dan, what do you think, mate?
Always a delay with Dan.
Yeah. Dan's filming off a potato.
Watch this game. It was a very, very poor. It was a very, very poor refereeing performance, and it was overshadowed. As you said, Burnley scored the goal. It was wrongly disallowed, and Burnley, if the goal was being disallowed, should have been VAR'd. It probably should have been a penalty. As the commentator was saying, me was going for the ball, didn't turn around. The keeper comes out and clatters him from behind.
Yeah.
If that's in the midfield and that's two holding midfielders going at it, it's a free kick. It should be a penalty because it was poor refereeing performance. Burnley have got a right to feel hard done by, but again, lead to getting results, and that's what you need to do.
That's exactly it. Yeah, no, completely agree from that Burnley point of view as well. He comes out and he absolutely clatters that Burnley player in the back, and then it does fall, fortunately, to Chris Wood, and he finds a little gap and gets it into the net. But apparently, it's a Leeds foul, which I do not understand whatsoever. If the referee's not been great that game, you got to check that VAR. You got to double, triple, and just quadruple check that. How is that his fault? He's standing there trying to head it away, and the goalkeeper goes into him. Stuff we'll never know, I guess. But moving on, West Ham 2, Brighton 2. Nothing really I can comment on this. I didn't really watch this game. It's just I guess it's a kind of a 1 point shared between each other. There's nothing really I can comment on in it, except West Ham are looking, as I say, a little bit dangerous as well. There's just like a little bit of a level below Wolves, I'd say, like a little, maybe like 8th or 9th card table team. But they do look a bit dangerous up top as well. Shavez, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there isn't much to say about that. I think the only thing I gained from that game was Souček. He's doing really well in the Premier League. I don't even know much about him. Did they sign him now, or when did he come about? Because I haven't heard of the guy until the season. Do you know Amir? You have?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. So they got him in January from Slavia Prague.
Yeah, what a signing! He's perfect for the Premier League. He's doing really well. He scores goals. He's a CDM, and he's popping up with goals as well. Yeah, I mean, West Ham, they'll get top 10. There's not much to say about West Ham.
Exactly.
If they get top 10, it's good. I don't know. They can look for Europe. I don't think they'll get it. If they get below top 10, that's not a good season for them.
Yeah.
Nothing more. Brighton's great point, because they want to survive.
Yeah, exactly that. Amir, what do you think?
Yeah, I did watch this game. So no, first half West Ham were not good enough at all. So he didn't make a couple. They were too defensive, so he brought on Lanzini, and I can't remember, but he took Noble off, and they picked it up. They were much better in the second half. And yeah, you're right, Souček. The other player they got from Slavia Prague, I don't know if you guys have heard of him, Kufau, the right back.
Yeah.
Heard of him.
Another good signing. I think the start of the season, the West Ham fan base were just not happy with the quality of players they brought in.
Yeah.
But I think now they're seeing Moyes is doing bits with them. I think top 10 is definitely where they should be aiming for.
Exactly. So, yeah, completely agree. Top 10, as I say, like an 8th or 9th table team is 100% something they should be going for. Nick, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, it's a good point for Brighton, like Shavez said, because they're obviously fighting for relegation, and maybe it could be seen as a not great result for West Ham if they're in the top 10. But I think West Ham was sort of that team where they're very stuck in the middle. It's almost as if they're caught the back of having a bad phase with Pellegrini before, bought in all these class players for a lot of money, and it didn't sort of go how they wanted to. Now they've brought in Moyes to sort of recover them, take them out of that sort of relegation battle, and now they're just sort of stuck in the middle. But yeah, if they finish top 10, then it'd be a good season for them.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I think we've all got pretty much the same opinion. Dan, do you have anything to say about that as well?
I don't know. It was an end-to-end game. Poor defending for the equaliser for Souček's header. But West Ham sort of haven't found their place in the Premier League. Like some seasons they'll be up there, other seasons they'll be down in the relegation zone. Some seasons they'll be mid-table. They haven't sort of like found like a routine place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, Brighton are going to be always not favourites for relegation, but always down there. So it's a good point for them. And they're not particularly an easy team to go up against. They know what their job is, and they're good at it. Similar to Burnley, I know they're not playing well this season, but they sort of know where, like they're good game management team. And obviously with Souček, it seems like Moyes has found his Fellaini again. His little lover boy, just to stick first name on the team sheet.
Yeah.
Just to do all the dirty work.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think we've basically got the same kind of opinion, really. Like West Ham, as you say, like Souček, great performance, and hopefully he'll be an impact player for the rest of the games to come. Hopefully he's not like a one-time like Michu kind of player from Swansea, where he just performs for one season and just that's it, he falls off the pan for the rest. But hopefully we'll see a little bit more from West Ham because he'll put a little bit of a dent in the top 6 teams because they do play well against the top 6 teams as well. Next game, Liverpool 1, West Brom 1. Shock result, in my opinion. I thought Liverpool would maybe make it a 3-4-1 result. But I guess, Big Sam making his mark and making sure that West Brom gets that point. I guess you could say good game from West Brom because, as you say, they're just at the bottom at the moment. So that point against Liverpool really does help them out because that's one of their hardest games. But from Liverpool's point of view, needed to be a win from them. And they've lost it, 2 points lost. Shavez, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool have a bit of a depleted squad, but even with that, I think Klopp knew what West Brom were going to do. He called it a 6-4-0 formation, and he can't complain about that. West Brom don't have what Liverpool have. Yeah, there shouldn't be any complaints for Liverpool. They should be really disappointed in themselves. It's the type of result where, at the end of the season, if Liverpool don't win the league, they'll look back on that and say those are 2 points we should have got, because it was a game we had to win and we knew what was going to happen in it.
Yep.
And yeah, I thought they were poor and they didn't deserve to win. They have to acknowledge that they deserve the draw there. But yeah, it was a great result for Big Sam. Welcome back to the Premier League. We all love him.
Never loses a relegation battle. Amir, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I think his appointment was very good for West Brom. That 1-1's a really good result for them. They 1-1 with City a couple of weeks back. I know it was Slaven Bilic, but if they carry on getting draws against big teams, then maybe they do have a chance of staying up. But I think last minute, who was it, Salah or someone had a chance and it was saved by the keeper.
Firmino, what a save.
It was Firmino, what a save, yeah. But it's with Big Sam, you know what you're going to get. It's everyone behind the ball, isn't it? Yeah. So it's a really good result for him.
Yeah, no, completely agree. As soon as you say, like, Klopp trying to complain about, I don't know if he's trying to complain about it, but like, as you say, a 6-4 formation, there's nothing really you can do, can you? Because at the end of the day, you're playing one of the best teams in Europe, and you're expecting like to people like from West Brom's team to try and attack against you. It's quite a hard proposition to kind of do. Nick, what do you think about that, mate?
Yeah, it was, well, Big Sam masterclass, but the thing that I think really shocked me is that, you know, every team that's done well against Liverpool this season or has managed to get something off them is by going and playing them at their own game, not just sitting back and sort of pretending behind the ball. Like if you look at Fulham, like a couple of weeks ago, they really took the game to Liverpool, same with Brighton, and they got something from it. But yeah, I know. I think Liverpool just didn't take their chances, and you know it's strange for them because they were playing a lot of long balls, which you wouldn't obviously associate with Liverpool. But they just sort of looked lost and didn't really know how to break them down after that first goal. So it was a good point for us.
Yeah, no, yeah, completely agree with that. Dan, what do you think? Go away for a 5-second delay.
Big Sam masterclass. Yeah, pure icon. Yeah, the teams that have played against Liverpool and actually got results or got wins against them, you go at them. Because quite often when you play the bigger teams like smaller clubs like West Brom, Brighton, they sit back and invite the pressure. Whereas if you actually take the game to some big teams, they don't panic, but they ruin their game plan a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a very, very good result. Good point for West Brom. But yeah, as you said, you know what you're going to get from Allardyce. And it could be one of them games that Liverpool look back on at the end of the season and go, we should have got a win there. This cost us the title.
Yeah, exactly that. 2 points that you could have got to hopefully maybe stretch and get that title. Yeah, completely agree. I think all of us got that point. You know, Big Sam saving West Brom, hopefully. And Liverpool need to really, really like knuckle down now and try and beat these like bottom table teams. Last game of the Matchweek 15 is Wolves 1, Spurs 1. You know, great point for the Arsenal fans. You know, we hate those Spurs, but you know, I think it was just got one of them ones where Mourinho scored his first goal, and then he was like, "Here we go, like same old tactic. Let me sit back." But Wolves like, "No, I'm not having any of that," and luckily got their goal back, which in a day like is perfect because Spurs are trying to play that boring old football, which Mourinho loves, which hopefully gets him a trophy. But you know, Wolves went out, as I say, haven't none of it. Shavez, what do you think?
Yeah, I think if there's one team that Mourinho could manage in like the top 6, it's Spurs, and the fans will be happy no matter how he plays. Because at the end of the day, they want a trophy. I actually don't think there are many Spurs fans who are annoyed by Mourinho. We are, when I was a Man United fan, that's just not how we play. Like, but then I think they're fine with it if it gets them a point. I know they wanted to win, but if they keep doing this sort of park the bus, whatever they do, and they do get a trophy out of it, their fans will look back on it and they'll be happy. And if they're happy, then we can laugh because I don't enjoy it. I watch that and I'm like, I'm so happy that doesn't happen anymore with us. But if that's what they want, then it's what they want. Wolves fully deserved what they got on. Wolves deserve to win. But anyways, yeah, I don't particularly like talking about Mourinho's football. It just brings me back, doesn't it? Yeah, that's all I can really say.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Amir, what do you have to say?
I don't know. I think he needs to rethink. I know it's the way he plays, but they just sit back. It's not good football. I know they might find it enjoyable. The Spurs fans, we don't really know, but they're not going to win games like this, are they? No. I don't think it's good at all. So, yeah, they need to switch up.
That's exactly yeah. They're now actually getting found out for how they play. You know, they're sticking Kane at number 10 role, and then just putting 3 balls down to Son. And now Bale's back. They're trying to get him on it as well. But everyone's trying to find out their plan, and they're actually like going against it. And Wolves luckily got that goal at the end, which they should have, as you said, Shavez won that game. But now, yeah, exactly. They're getting found out, which is good news. Nick, what do you think? If you're here, Nick.
Oh, is that lag?
He's done a move.
All right, we'll move on to Daniel for a second just to make sure. Dan, what do you think about that Wolves Spurs match, Nate?
Two of my most hated clubs, but no, Wolves actually deserve to win this game. I think personally, I think Wolves deserve to win. They were unlucky. I think I watched the game. I think Spurs' last shot on target was in the 22nd minute or something, and you can't, as you said, you know how they're going to play. I don't think it's a case of Spurs fans are enjoying it. I think it's more of a case of it's a results-based business. And if I've always said I'd rather win every game 1-0 and get a few draws here and there and win something than win every game 5 or 6-0 and not win anything, because at the end of the day, it's a results-based business. And if Mourinho comes in and gets them that title or the FA Cup or anything, they'll see it as a success.
Very true. Yeah, can't blame that. Yeah, exactly that. Mourinho plays that kind of game where you just try and force them to get a title, and hopefully that doesn't happen for them, because I hate their type of football. But Nick, as you went away for a minute, what do you have to say about that game?
Yeah, no, I just the football's not good to watch. People can say it might work, it might not, but I think if you like, especially if you look in the Wolves game, if you just score a goal and you sit back and you just invite pressure, it's all well and good doing it against teams like West Brom, Brighton, teams might not score. Yeah. But if you go into a Champions League game, score 1 goal against Bayern and just sit back and expect them not to score 2-3 goals, then you're not going to get anywhere just inviting pressure on yourself. And I don't really think that. I think Mourinho's tactics are a bit outdated to try and do that, especially in the league now when you see how competitive it is. I don't think that's going to work for them.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, we all have the same opinion about Mourinho's kind of tactics. We don't like him whatsoever, but whatever gets you a point, eh? Well, that wraps up the match week 15 and episode 2 of the Premier League results. We're going to finish on a 60 seconds with Daniel Brand. Daniel is a Watford fan, so he'd like to explain what basically Watford have been through this week. So take it away, Daniel.
Basically just some EFL sort of chat. There were some huge results at the top of the league, with Reading picking up 3 points. Obviously, my team, Watford beating Norwich, Swansea winning, Brentford winning as well. All huge sort of games. Again, Championship were not great. There was a couple of 0-0s with Forest against Birmingham and Coventry Stoke. Blackburn and Sheffield picking up a 1-1 draw. And again, Championship football, but Watford have obviously got a new manager. He looked very happy with the result, and I was happy with his tactics. He looked quite good, and I can't really fault him. But I won't bore you with the EFL because we're a poor man's league. EFL, not a lot happened apart from at the top end of the table, to be fair, this week.
He looks like he's got the players on board, your manager. I saw the reaction at the end of the game. He looks like he's known them for a few years. I don't know if you've probably seen the video.
Yeah, it was actually good to see that. Obviously, Deeney on Talk Sport come out and said that none of the players were happy with the manager and how he was managing things and how he worked the training ground. Whereas he actually come out and said after the Norwich game that he gave them Christmas Day off to spend with their families, which is quite rare. I know he played at home, but usually they'd stay in a hotel the night before the game, just so everyone's on time and ready for the game. But it's sort of the you work for us, we'll work for you type thing. So I'm trying to keep everyone sweet, I think, and it was actually good to see everyone on board and as a team. Yeah.
That's exactly
No
it.
one cares about us. We're a small little club.
Exactly. Nah.
Definitely gave you more than a minute there.
Yeah, well, no, thanks,
You've been
Dan, for that
asking.
little 60 seconds.
Yeah,
Should I say
I'm
like
taking-
160
I'm taking-
seconds? But we'll wrap it up there for episode 2.
Yeah, I need to at this point.
Wrap up there for episode 2, match week 15, should I say. Join us next week for episode 3, match week 16, where we'll discuss obviously today's results as well, because that'll be a part of match week 16 and next weekend's fixtures as well. But for the meantime, take care.